I mean, if you listen to this and you haven't seen Endgame, then I don't want you to listen to our podcast anyway. So I find it really difficult to watch something someone recommends to me.
I agree.
When I'm recommending to someone else, I'm like, please,
just watch this.
Please.
I want to talk to someone about it.
I know for a fine fact, they're like, shut up.
Yeah.
I'll find it myself.
Am I willing to dedicate X amount of hours of my time because you've recommended that this show might be a bit good?
I cannot eat my dinner until I'm watching something. The Stranger's on, right? I want to watch it because otherwise
I can't eat my dinner and it's going to get cold.
It's going to get cold. I wake up half an hour before I get out of bed so I can have a wake up scroll.
That's so bad.
That's one for you. Why can't we tickle ourselves?
Adam, I don't know the answer to that.
But why can't we? Have
don't
you tried
know.
tickling yourself?
I'm not going to tickle myself on camera, mate.
Okay, next question. Would you rather have legs as long as your fingers or fingers as long as your legs? Alright then, here we go. Social conversation.
We're back.
We're back.
We have returned.
We have returned.
This week has been a bit of a struggle.
It has.
Because me and Adam haven't talked to each other all week. And we've had to keep everything for this 1 hour slot.
Every time we have a conversation, we're like, stop. Leave it for the podcast.
That'll be great content for the podcast.
That'll be perfect.
Keep it.
Don't stop talking about that. Yeah. How have you been, mate? You alright?
Good. We've actually worked together on about 3 jobs this week. We just haven't talked to each other. Isn't that right?
We're like, we literally start a conversation and you're like, nope. Podcast, mate. Leave it for the podcast.
Oh, I had this thought the other day. Nope, Dean, keep it for the podcast, mate.
It's actually ruining our friendship.
Yeah.
But it's alright though.
Yeah, that's true.
Do it for the podcast, that's what I say.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, mate?
Well, what I wanted to dig into, one of the things that we mentioned the other day, which was, what kind of brought on the whole we can't talk outside of the podcast, was we mentioned, it's all about who you know in the photo and video industry.
Yeah.
Which it is.
It is very much so.
I mean, I got this job because, I know the guys.
You know the guys.
And I got my first job because my uncle owned the business. And I stayed there for like 5-6 years. And like anyone else who's in this industry, in any creative industry, whether you're like in like design or photo or video or whatever, I think people do get most of the jobs because they know people.
I think there's that line, isn't there? You have to pass the line of being talented. So once you're talented, you can create to a level that people are happy to kind of watch and that kind of level, that's a nice photo, that's nice. Once you're there, then if you know some people who know some more people, then getting the work comes a bit easier.
I think it's kind of it's a game between, how good you are and how many people you know. Yeah. Because like say, for example, you might be better at me at a certain job, but if I know the person that's going to get me that job, then I'm going to get the job, no matter if I'm better than you or not.
100%.
And I think the same, it goes for if I'm like applying for a job, as in like a full-time job, and I've got a CV, I've got a good CV, a good portfolio, and there's someone else who's got, a good CV and a good portfolio, but I know the manager. Yeah. I'm going to get the job.
For sure. It's about the connection between two people, sometimes more than the level of the work.
Yeah, well, I think there's a level of trust that you have with people. If you can trust that, right, I'm going to hire Adam for this because I know that he's going to do a good job, and there might be someone else who's got a better portfolio than you, but do I really want to take that risk?
Like when you started working the social call, you didn't really have an interview, did you?
Not really.
An interview. It was a conversation. James, Ken and Phil, myself and you sat there just over from where we're recording and had a chat, like where are you at, what you wanting to do, where you wanting to go with your career. But you didn't come in with your CV, you came with the portfolio that shows all your work. I hadn't really seen all of it. I'd seen a few bits on Instagram, and that was because you knew us. Yeah. If you didn't know us, it would have been a formal interview, sat in the interview room where we always did the interviews. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I just walked in like I had the job anyway, so...
Yeah, the confidence was weighing off you.
But that's because I knew everyone. Yeah. See, if it was people that I didn't know, I would have been so nervous. So, it all comes full circle, I think. Yeah. I want to know how you got to be a runner for Endgame and Infinity War. Yeah. How did that happen? Well, I don't know. I think you probably should. Yeah, there's probably an NDA that you signed. But
I signed an NDA, but that was, I don't know. That was a while back. The films are out now, so I guess I can kind of talk about it.
When was it, 2017 that you did it? NDAs are usually for 2 years, and the films are already out now, Adam. Well, we all know what happens.
Yeah.
We know who clicks the fingers.
Yep. Wow. I mean, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen Endgame, then I don't want you to listen to our podcast anyway. So
yeah, fair enough.
Let's just start from there. But I worked on the set when it was in Durham Cathedral for Infinity War / Endgame. They shot the films back to back, literally. So they were filming scenes for Infinity War and they were filming scenes for Endgame at the same time, just because they wouldn't. Why would they come to the UK and shoot scenes for Endgame and Infinity War in 2 different years? Do you get what I'm saying? Because it was like a year production gap, but they just put it together. So basically, they turned Durham Cathedral into Asgard, which is where Thor lives in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, well, used to live up until
Let's keep spoilers away from the podcast, but
I mean, but if you haven't seen any of those films,
then I don't want them to listen to you. Yeah. So they pretty much turned the Durham Cathedral into Asgard. Green screens everywhere. Blah 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 blah. I was in uni at the time, and a friend of mine, Nathan, pretty much messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hi mate, there's some Marvel thing happening at Durham Cathedral. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Yes." Like,
as you would be.
Literally, yes. I'm pretty sure I just put a yes. What is it? And he was like, "Oh, I'm not really sure yet." And then it was maybe a week or 2 later, he messaged again and said, "Oh, it's Infinity War." And I was like,
"Oh my God."
I was like, "Bro." I was like, "Are you serious?" Because at the time, like, what film just came out at that time? I don't know what film it was. I think Civil War.
I was going to say, it would have been Civil War or one of the ones afterwards.
So, like, at this point, Infinity War, everyone knew it was coming, but I was like, what? The film in Durham Cathedral? So I was like, yes, obviously we'll do it. Anyway, a friend of mine called Keelan was there with me as well. So it was me and Keelan. Nathan got us on the job. Nathan was kind of helping security and that kind of thing. That's what he was doing. But then he got me and Keelan to run for the grip department, which basically they build all the big cranes and the camera set up. So every time a camera moves, it's on a rig basically. And the grip department build all them rigs. So we had these massive cranes, massive tracks out. It was amazing. So if you're into cameras and nerdy stuff like that, then I was like in paradise. And then we also work for the prop department, which is like anything in any set for any shot. Everything in that shot is from the prop department. So it might be like a plant, literally anything to a chair. And we helped move it all into the set. So we literally built the sets. I think, to be honest, I think I've told a decent amount of people. Like, if anyone ever mentions to me, "Oh, I'm a big Marvel fan," I'm like, "Well, did you know this?" And I'm like, "Boom!" Yeah,
bloody hell.
Yeah.
The thing with props on massive sets like that, there'll be hundreds of thousands of props, but a lot of them you won't even see on the in the final shot at all.
We spent hours like putting this carpet down.
Yeah,
in the right position. Did we put a plant this side? And like there's the set, like the prop master who's like head of all the props, and then there's like the set decorator. We were working with her. She's a big I can't remember her name, but she's a big famous set director. And she was like telling us to move shit for hours, right? And in the film, it's in for like the shots, I think a 2-minute scene, and there's 2 angles of it that gets used.
And that's it. Like, so insignificant.
Yeah, that was for one of the scenes. The other scene was like, in Endgame, when it comes to Asgard, it's like Asgard across the screen. Then it's a shot of like Thor hiding from his mum and Rocket's there. Yeah. That scene, there's quite a bit on there. But it was absolutely insane. It's probably one of the best weeks of my life.
So how did they film the scenes with Rocket? Because, I mean, as everyone will know, Rocket is a raccoon that talks. Yeah. So we obviously...
Can I just tell you this?
Yeah.
He's not real.
He's not real?
No.
Damn it.
He's, he's computer generated, as they call it. CGI.
What? That's so disappointing.
Yeah, there's a guy called Sean Gunn, which is James Gunn's brother. James Gunn's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. Sean Gunn is the person who plays Rocket, not the voice, who walks as Rocket Raccoon. So he walks and does the animations, the movement of him. And they pretty much shoot every scene 3 times. One empty, where, for example, if Thor's talking to Rocket with no one there. So they get the eye line, basically. So imagine that Rocket's there. And they shoot it with a puppet of Rocket, a statue, so they get the framing right. So they know that Rocket's not going to be cut out the frame or too high or too low. And then they do it with Sean Gunn, which pretty much does the movements. And I was watching this like, what? I was like mind blown because you don't see that type of stuff. You don't see it unless you're on the set. So like the experience was like out of this world. Like I could talk literally for 5 podcasts in a row about this, and I could still just keep talking. It was 5 days on set. Early mornings, we were getting to set for like 6 a.m. and we were leaving at like 6 p.m. 7 p.m. It was long. We got £100 a day.
You actually got paid for it as
well? £100 a day, yeah.
Yes, it's weird because usually stuff like that is just like, free help.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've got a budget big enough, so.
Yeah, the best thing in the world is about that is if you could work on any film, you want to work on the film that had the biggest budget for a film ever and is now #1 highest grossing movie ever. And that's the film I've worked on a couple of little things, for Netflix and stuff like that. But Endgame is literally, not only am I the biggest Marvel fan, like I love Marvel more than anything, right? I love Marvel. That's the biggest Marvel film ever. It's also the biggest and most highest grossing film ever. It's literally #1 by millions. It's like, I don't know how many billions it made, but a lot, like 7 billion or something. And I met Thor.
What's he like? What's Thor like?
No, I say I met him. He was stood next to me. I was too scared to talk to him.
Of course you were.
Chris Hemsworth, yeah, he's huge. Obviously, when he's playing Thor, he puts on the muscle like crazy. He's like massive. But yeah, Keelan, who I was there with, had like a little conversation with him. He said he was a lovely guy. But better than Thor, I spoke to Joe Russo, which is the director. Joe and Anthony Russo, the Russo brothers, directed Infinity War, Endgame, and The Winter Soldier. Possibly 3 of the best Marvel films ever made. And like me and Keelan had like a 30-minute plus conversation with Joe Russo about what we were doing. Like he was interested in what we were doing. Oh, you're runners, what you're helping out? And we're like, yeah. And he was asking about our student films, what we like to do. Half an hour conversation. And Joe was stood next to us in this little corridor chatting. Anthony, his brother, came over to Joe and was like, oh, Joe, we need to get back to set. And Joe was like, oh yeah, 2 minutes. Like,
that's really nice.
That means a lot, doesn't it? Because like he took time out of his really busy day. He's making a bloody £1 billion film, like, and he's stood talking to me and Keelan, like just chatting.
Just 2 little students.
2 little students
from Durham
with big dreams.
Yeah,
but
the biggest dreams.
The biggest dreams.
Wow.
But yeah, like I said, this has probably been about 15 minutes already. But yeah, I also met Thor's mum. She stroked my hair.
Really?
Freya, yeah.
Not Chris Hemsworth's mum.
No.
But Thor's mum.
As in Thor's mum in the films. She's called Freya in the films.
Yeah.
Played by Renee Russo. Renee Russo, I think that's her name.
Right.
Lovely, like amazing actress. Really famous actress. And like we were just chatting. She was like, oh, I love your hair. And she was like stroking my hair. And I was like, yes, keep stroking
God
my hair.
almighty.
Yeah, and she was like dressed as Thor's mum. Like, I was like, what is going on? Am I dreaming? Like, I thought I was dreaming for like 5 days.
That's just the most bizarre thing.
You can imagine that everyone in that uni was pretty jealous.
Yeah.
Because only me and Kieran got to work on it.
I mean, I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah. I'm jealous myself. Absolutely amazing. What an experience.
That is crazy.
I'm never going to forget that. Like, no. Ever. That's going to be like the #1 thing.
You'll be telling the grandkids.
I will tell the grandkids. I hope my grandkids are big Marvel fans. I'll be like, boom.
Yeah.
You didn't do this though.
So is there any scenes in the movie that you saw on the back of the camera?
Yeah.
Which ones were they?
The one where we jumped into, literally the only ones like in...
The only ones in that Asgard scene where they go back.
They go back in time. Rocket and Thor go back in time.
Got you.
To Asgard. I pretty much saw them all bar the one where he's like, holds his hand out and the hammer comes back. We got kicked out the room before they started rolling because the room was dead tight and I was like with the grips and we were like stood in this corner awkwardly. Me and Keelan were just kind of just there just so we can watch. But
I would be as well.
But yeah, I'm doing one more thing. Basically, at this point when they were recording for Endgame, we thought they were recording for Infinity War. We hadn't seen any trailers for Infinity War. Civil War had just come out, so you can imagine everything that's happening in these films. No one knows anything about. So me and Keelan just stood there watching the cameras roll, they're doing the rehearsals, the recording, whatever. And then Rocket does this line. He says this line, they're like, action. And Rocket comes on, Thor, blah, 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 what's going on? They're chatting like this, and Rocket goes, everyone who I love has died. Star-Lord, and names off all the Guardians who's dead now, right? So me and Keelan just turn and are like this. What? Like the biggest spoiler you could ever imagine has just happened in front of our eyes, and we're like, no. But then they would take after take after take. So me and Keelan knew this big spoiler. So we went into Infinity War, the screening, knowing that people were going to die.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
But you didn't know how.
We didn't know how.
Bloody hell.
It makes you appreciate filmmaking so much when you're on sets like that.
Yeah.
Like the level of detail and like it's just absolutely...
So how many days was it filming?
5 days.
5 days filming?
Well, I was there for 5 days. They did a bit longer, but we weren't on the set anymore.
So maybe like a week and a bit.
Yeah. And then they went to Edinburgh after.
So, and that's for maybe a 2 to 3 minute...
Yeah. Less than 5 minutes, for sure.
Portion of the film.
Less than. Which millions is just and millions of pounds. For
nuts. That is crazy.
I would love to know what like the minute per, how much a minute is worth in that film.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's a good metric.
That would be really.
If anyone listening knows that metric, I'd like to know that.
You probably find out. You could find out the budget and then how long it took to shoot, and then work out.
I think we need to find that out.
That'd be fucking awesome. But yeah, what an experience. I'm going to stop talking about that now.
Fair enough.
What are we talking about next, Matt?
Well, you've got some notes, have you?
I do. I have some notes on my phone.
Good. What's your first note, Adam? Oh, God.
Actually, yeah. What have you been watching on Netflix, Matt?
What have I been watching?
Yeah, on Netflix. Let's talk about Netflix a bit.
My Netflix recommends.
Yeah.
I don't know why you trust my recommended so much.
If you said, "Oh, watch this," I'd go no.
I think a lot of people do that, you know. I think you've got to find your own.
100%.
Do you think that?
I find it really difficult to watch something someone recommends to me.
Yeah, I agree.
When I'm recommending to someone else, I'm like, please,
just watch this.
Please.
I want to talk to someone about it.
I know for a fact they're like, shut up.
Yeah.
I'll find it myself.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? It's like, I think it's because watching TV takes it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of commitment to commit to a TV show and watch it. If you just watch one episode, you're not really getting, into it. And then 2 episodes, you have to actually sit and watch them. So if someone recommends a TV show, it's like,
am I willing to dedicate X amount of hours of my time
because of your recommendation?
10 plus hours because you've recommended that this show might be a bit good.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to make those mistakes by myself.
Exactly.
If I've watched a TV show and I thought, it's a bit rubbish this.
I just finished Strangers.
Strangers.
You should watch that, mate. I know we've just spoke about.
No, I'm not going to watch any of these.
But yeah, Strangers is really good. That's really good.
Give me a brief synopsis about that.
There's this like town.
Yeah.
Where basically.
Is it about that couple and someone gets told a lie or something?
Yeah, so basically this stranger just pops into everyone's lives and just says, oh, this has happened to your family. Did you know? But they didn't know. And then everything just breaks apart. And it's loads of different little stories and they all come together in the end. It's very clever filmmaking.
And it's the stranger is the baddie from Ant-Man and the Wasp, if I rightly remember. Yeah, I believe it is. I can't remember her name. It's a girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought... Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her. Yeah.
Going back to Marvel again.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We should just make this a Marvel podcast.
Yeah, we could do that. Probably, actually. Yeah. We could go for hours.
We could.
I've been watching the Vox Explained series.
Yeah, I love that.
Have you watched them?
I've watched a couple. Yeah,
they're so good.
Do they do one on dreams?
Yeah, so there's just the Vox Explained, which is just an amalgamation of all sorts of weird things, and then there's Sex Explained and The Mind Explained.
The Mind Explained.
The Mind is, I think it's all narrated by Emma Stone.
Yeah, it is.
And they're just lovely little 20 minute, just little brief nuggets of really amazing information.
It's great because that's like a quick watch. You know, like when you just get your tea and you want to watch something with your tea.
I watched it when I was having my dinner last night.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
That brings me on to me. I cannot eat my dinner until I'm watching something. And it winds me up, right? When Ali, my girlfriend, takes like her time. So I'm like, food on the plate, drink, cutlery, little dessert maybe after. On a tray. We have trays.
We
have like little old people, we have little trays. Take the trays upstairs. I'm sat. Addie's like, fucking doing all sorts of bits. I'm like, Ali, screaming downstairs, come, like, hurry the fuck up. The Stranger's on, right? I want to watch it because otherwise
I can't eat my dinner and it's going to get cold.
It's going to get cold. And I'm not joking. I would rather get a little bit cold, but I'm watching something than eat it before I watch it.
I think I do the same. Probably not to the same extreme that you. I think I'm always the one dawdling, so I'm probably not affected by that. I do dawdle a little bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are probably the same. You can't really sit down and have a little family meal without the TV on. Probably should, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think every time I go to my parents now, we always try to sit down and
sit at the table
and have a meal without the TV on.
Don't get me wrong, there's different scenarios, like if we're eating with Ali's dad or with Ali's mum,
of course.
We'll sit at the table.
Yeah.
But if it's just me and Ali, we just ignore each other, eat our food and watch the TV.
Yeah, we're the same. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just this generation, we just like to intake information through television.
It is weird though, because we're just constantly kind of bombarded by, we're just consuming things all the time.
It never stops.
When you get up in the morning, you scroll through Instagram, you're looking on Facebook, you're checking your notifications and stuff. You do that all the time.
Yeah, half an hour. I wake up half an hour before I get out of bed so I can have a wake up scroll.
That's so bad.
It's awful, mate.
That's awful.
It's horrible. That brings me on to a little question.
I'm not finished.
Wow.
You get in the car, you listen to the radio, you listen to a podcast, you listen to Spotify. You don't just sit in silence.
No.
You get to work, you have your headphones on, or you're in meetings, or you're talking to someone else.
Constantly.
Yeah, you're on your lunch break. Oh, I'm on my lunch break. I'm just going to scroll through Instagram again. Going to have a look on Twitter. I'm going to look on Reddit. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. And then back to work again, still engaged. Get back in the car. Oh, I'm going to listen to the radio again, listen to a podcast or whatever, audiobook. Get home, sit and watch TV while you're having your dinner, get into bed, scroll through your phone again, and then you put your phone down, try to go to sleep. You can't go to sleep.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because your mind's just constantly engaged all day.
All the time.
And like in this day and age, it's pretty difficult to find silence. It's probably something that we should all do.
Back in the olden days, as they say it, when there was no phones or nothing like that, it was literally just people went to work and then came home. It's hard to think about what people did.
What did you do in your spare time?
Yeah.
Think.
They had to literally constantly talk to people.
You didn't literally have to do anything.
No, true.
You don't have to be engaged. And a lot of people weren't.
So weird,
it's a difficult thing to think about because
it's hard to think
you think, everyone's always on their phones, but yes, you are. You are always on your phone. And you can't poke the finger at anyone else because we're all just as bad as one another.
Literally. Even my mum loves Instagram, loves Facebook now.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, she wouldn't even known how to go on any app on her phone.
I think my mum's the same, to be honest.
Yeah. But it's getting to the point now, past couple of years.
It's really bad.
Yeah. You know, it's all the way from a 9-year-old kid that gets an iPhone for Christmas who has an Instagram account all the way through to an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, it's people, I mean, it's kind of millennials who are slightly older than we are who've got kids.
Yeah.
And just to occupy the kid, they'll just chuck an iPad in front of them. So it's going to be built into the next generation just from a really young age to be engaged all the time.
It makes you kind of think, like, when I have kids, I'll make sure that doesn't happen, but you can't do that to your kid though, because if you're not, if you bring up a kid that is the only kid in his friend group or her friend group that hasn't got Instagram or hasn't got the new iPhone, you kind of separating your child from that friend group. And I think it's really important to let I don't know what I'm talking about kids, but you know what I mean.
I think you've got to build a healthy relationship with
the device,
technology and well, eventually social media when you're bringing up a child. I mean, I don't know because I don't have kids.
I don't have kids.
It's kind of what I would like to think that I would do as a dad, and just be responsible with it. But what is a responsible amount? I mean, you've got screen time that you can use for your kids' phones now, and I don't know what a reasonable amount is.
No.
We're all kind of walking around in the dark with it, really.
I know.
It's difficult. You had a question, Adam.
I did have a question.
Until I rudely interrupted you.
You literally was like, no, I'm not finished.
I'm not finished. I was on my train of thought, and if I lose my train of thought, I'm gone. I can't get it back.
Yeah. So this is not questions for Dean yet. We're not there yet.
Well,
this is a separate little conversation starter.
Right.
Something a bit different.
Have you put out questions on Instagram?
Yes.
I did the same.
You did the same thing?
I can guarantee that I've had no actual real sustenance of questions, and I've just got rubbish.
I've got a couple of good questions here.
How do I? Yep, it is literally just satire from everyone in the office.
I've got a couple of good ones, you know. Which one do I even go for?
Maybe people take you more seriously than they take me.
This one's a serious one.
Okay.
Matt Lork asks, would you rather have legs as long as your fingers or fingers as long as your legs?
That's an interesting question.
Would you rather have legs as long as your fingers?
I'd have fingers as long as my legs because I could always get them surgically removed.
You could tickle people, couldn't you?
From really far away.
I could get you right now.
That'd be quite a lot of muscular strength.
That's one for you. Why can't we tickle ourselves?
Adam, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not going to answer that, mate.
But why can't we? Have you tried tickling yourself?
Isn't it just itching yourself, pretty much? I'm not going to tickle myself on camera, mate. It's not going to happen. Next question, please.
Okay, next question. With 80% of content online now being video, where do you see the future of photography? I've got an answer for it. That's Connor Pallister, by the way, who's asked that question. Connor Pallister. He is our lead designer at The Social Club.
Yes, he is. It's a difficult one because I don't think photos are going to die anytime soon at all. If anything, I think it's going to be on the rise. As we kind of alluded to earlier, everything is just so engaging all the time.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a nice sereneness to photography in some cases, be it art or anything like that. But in terms of social media, yes, video is the way forward. But I'm in favour because I'm a photographer.
You're a photographer. I wouldn't class myself as a photographer.
No,
I'd definitely class myself as a videographer or maybe filmmaker if I'm pushing the boundaries a little bit. But
I would call you a filmmaker.
Yeah, and then I would say that I do photography purely as a hobby. Of photos that I only want to take photos of this thing, so I'm going to take photos of it. I've done a couple of bits of photography work for some clients, but not really. It's mainly video. But I think photography will always be ahead of video. I just genuinely think it will, because you have to think every design you see on social is over the top of a photo.
Yeah.
All designs on top of the photo. Yes, video is huge and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but there's something about photography which is just so pure.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. It's very pure.
And you get a lot of videos online which are very cheap, and at the minute people aren't seeing that.
I think it's a lot more difficult to grasp.
Yeah.
Which could be a good or bad thing.
Yeah.
Just depending on how you look at it. But there is always going to be that purity with photography, which I quite like.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a purist, but I can also just throw that aside when the job needs it. But yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's going to be interesting just to see how social changes in the next 5 years.
5 years.
I mean, you see how much it's changed in the last 10, and it's everything. Everyone, pushes their marketing more towards social than almost anything else nowadays. So it'll be interesting. Next question.
This is a good one.
That was a nice noise it made there.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Melanie. Is it Mel?
Just read the question, Adam.
Mel? I'm just going to say Mel.
Okay.
Good answer. Which fictional character do you wish was real?
Ooh.
Which fictional character do you wish was real? I know exactly what I'm going to say.
I am just going to pull whoever's off the top of my head right now, and I don't know why he's on the top of my head, but Doc from Back to the Future. I think he'd be a really interesting person. I think he'd be an innovator.
You thought practical there.
I did.
You thought like he could probably help the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And so did I. Do you know who I thought of?
Who?
Superman.
Oh, for God's sake.
Listen,
Go back to superheroes again.
Can I just say, Superman would fix so many things.
Yeah.
Wars, gone.
Yeah. Cats and trees, saved.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much everything that Superman can help with.
That's about it, really. Yeah.
Aliens. If aliens had, invade, which will be happening soon.
It's not going to happen.
Superman could just fly up and just knock them out. Bang.
Yeah.
Both.
He could.
He
could. But on a real level, then, I can't remember his name, Doc. He could be like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He's the boy.
Yeah, he would be inventing he literally, I think, would probably invent some time travel thing.
You know why he's on the top of my head? Because Callum just showed me a video where they did a deep fake of Robert Downey Jr. and what's he called who plays Spider-Man?
A deep fake?
Yeah.
What's that?
So a deep fake is where you take hundreds of photos and videos of a person's face and then implant it onto someone else's face on a video.
Right.
So they're taking Tom Holland's face and Robert Downey Jr.'s face. Hundreds of photos and different kind of...
You nearly just said Robbie Downey Jr.
Robbie. I wonder if he ever got called that.
Robbie Downey.
And they've planted it on top of Marty and Doc in Back to the Future in a scene when they're in the school, when they went back in time. And it is uncanny. It looks like they've actually went back and reenacted the scene. Yeah, and it show you honestly, it's amazing. Link will be in the show notes. It's like
insane.
Yeah.
Phil Sutcliffe, my boss, your boss, one of the bosses,
the man,
has asked, what podcasts do you listen to and why?
I listen to I've been listening to two a lot recently. Very recently, as in just this weekend, I've started listening to Shagged, Marry, Annoyed with Chris Ramsey.
Chris and Rosie Ramsey.
Very good.
That was my recommendation to you.
Yeah. It was.
It's brilliant.
But I didn't listen to it on your recommendation. I listened to it on my girlfriend's recommendation.
Oh, yeah?
Which I take deeply.
Deeply.
It is sacred.
Okay. Brilliant. Empire Film Podcast. Really, really good.
Yeah? What's that?
That's just a general a podcast about the latest film that's just come out. Any film could just come out, The Joker, for example, and they do a podcast about it.
I like it.
They talk about it's all spoilers. It's all like,
oh great.
So if you've seen the film,
you
listen to the podcast and you find out things that you might have missed in the film. And
that's pretty cool.
They spoke to Todd Phillips, the director of The Joker, about the film and stuff, and asked him different questions.
I like
it's
that.
Really good. Listen to Empire,
because I've listened to one where they interviewed the Russo brothers, and it was really quite interesting.
Yeah.
It looks like you haven't heard that.
Did I tell you that?
Yes.
I met the Russo brothers.
Yeah, you met them.
Did we mention that in the podcast?
Yeah, we did. There was a whole section. It was the first 20-something minutes.
That, yeah.
Another one I've been listening to is The Daily Talk Show, which is just a couple of Aussies from Melbourne, and they just talk crap for about 45 minutes every single day.
That sounds amazing.
It's actually hilarious. They're so funny. That's about it. They're just really funny. Another one I've been listening to, I haven't recently, but I've listened to nearly every episode, is The Ground Up Show with a guy called Matt Diavella.
I think I've seen you watch these.
Yeah, and he's a filmmaker, cinematographer, turned YouTuber.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
That's really interesting.
And he talks a lot about like self-development and all that sort of stuff.
You don't see that way much. You don't see filmmakers or cinematographers do YouTube.
No, you don't.
And very rarely you see YouTubers make it as cinematographers or filmmakers because they're so comfortable making money from YouTube. So that's a weird kind of link there.
I think one of the main things that you hear most of is that they want to create content for themselves, and they enjoy making it, and they don't want to have to put it past a client,
a director, producer, someone always telling them what to do.
All of the barriers, like they might enjoy this product, but then they put it past someone. No, the music needs changed. No, that scene needs cut. This and that. The color grade's not good. So they obviously just kind of enjoy doing it for themselves.
That's cool.
which is fair enough if you've been in the industry for 10, 15 years or whatever. But what's your podcast recommendations?
Chris and Rosie Ramsey, Strike Married Annoyed, 100%. Empire Film Podcast, definitely if you're into films. What other podcasts? I don't really listen to that many.
The Social Conversation is pretty good.
I was getting to that. Obviously, if you love podcasts, you love listening to two really good-looking people.
That's just a big fat reason to watch on YouTube there, Adam.
Yeah. Or if you're just listening to the audio version, at least you've got Dean's sexy podcast voice.
Yeah, this is not what I sound like in real life.
Speaking of Dean.
Oh, God.
That brings us swiftly to... questions for Dean.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
That took me ages.
Please.
To come up with.
Can we not do that again? I don't like that. I don't even like that you've kind of wiggled this little questions for Dean segment in.
That's the name
That's
of it.
A thing now.
Questions for Dean.
Okay.
It's not just questions for Dean, it's questions for Dean.
Right, hit me with the questions.
Dean Hindmarch, what is your favourite day of the week?
My favourite day of the week is the one that I'm in right now.
Which is?
Today. It doesn't matter what day it is.
Oh, God, here we go. Cringe on my life.
I should write this in a LinkedIn post, shouldn't I?
Yes.
You were just having a go at me earlier about my cringeworthy LinkedIn posts, but they get mad engagement, bro.
They do.
So it doesn't really matter. No, I don't know if I have a favourite day. I'm gonna say Monday.
I would say Monday too.
Just because I like to get after it,
I like a Wednesday, little hump day.
Little hump day.
Just because it's kind of I don't know, it's the middle of the week.
I don't know, any day, really. I enjoy all the days.
I do too, mate.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm with you.
As long as I'm alive. I'm going to pretend that you didn't say that because that was a bit weird.
On a morning, we spoke about this a little bit before about morning, getting ready and stuff. Mm-hmm. How long does it take you to get ready?
Are we digging into morning routines here?
Morning routine, yeah. How long? So literally from your alarm going off to leaving the house, how long?
I wake up at 6 a.m. every day.
Weirdo.
That's not weird though.
It's weird, mate. Because that is weird. I'm up at 6 a.m. if I need to be up at 6 a.m. If I don't need to be up, I am sleeping until I need to be up.
You need to try for 30 days, wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I just did it just because I was like, meh, I'm going to try it. I feel like I don't have enough hours in the day, so I'm going to wake up early. I did it once and I was like, wow, I got a lot done this morning. I got more done between hours of 6 and 9 a.m. than I would have between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.
See, you have other things outside of work.
I have lots of work to do all the time.
You produce a podcast. You do your own bits of photo.
Yeah, work. I do like model test shoots.
Yeah, little bits and bobs.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. So if you woke up at 6 a.m., you'd have nothing to do.
If I woke up at 6 a.m., I'd go into work for 7 a.m. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I could be in it, to be honest, if I wanted to, I could come in for 7 a.m., but I don't.
I've got a lot to do, so I get up at 6 a.m. I'll when your morning routine is so ingrained that you don't even remember what you do, you just do it. Mm-hmm. I wake up at 6, I shower, I get breakfast, I make my coffee, I then do work for a certain amount of time, depending on how long breakfast has taken, which is usually not that long. So I'll probably work for about an hour and a half, and then I'll just drive to work. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I'll work before I go to work.
I respect that shit. Yeah. I respect that.
I'm just always trying to get after it,
Ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you? 1 being a blind, deaf person with no arms and legs, and 10 being
Lewis Hamilton.
I'd say
I'm a solid 7.5.
Wow. You are not a 7.5.
I'm a 7.5.
I've been in the car with you. You're more like a 4.5.
That's really nasty. What's wrong with my driving?
No, I'm joking. Nothing.
You're just seeing how offended I was by that, and yeah. I don't know. I think I'm all right. Mainly, I think I'm all right is because I did a track day, and a man who has been a race driver for about 50 years said that I was good. So
I did tractor too.
Yeah, but did you have the old man say that you were good?
Same guy as you.
No, he didn't.
Roger, yeah.
No, he wasn't called Roger. No.
He was called Roger, and do you know what he said to me? He says, I had Dean here 2 weeks back.
No, you're lying. Stop it.
He has.
No.
And I said he was good, but then you came on.
Didn't you get
and I realised he was like a 4.5.
Did you get a score on it?
He gave me literally Infinity and Beyond.
Oh.
And driving skill.
Yeah.
He said, well, off the bat, he said, literally, I pulled up the Lamborghini and I was like, thanks for that. And he was like, straight off the bat, you're better than Dean. And then I got out.
Mm-hmm. That was a lie. Don't listen to him.
We spoke a little bit about Back to the Future before.
Oh, I love those movies.
So this is quite relevant. Would you rather go back in time or into the future? And what would you do in either scenario? So if you went back in time, what would you do? If you went to the future, what would you do? Or would you just look around?
I'd go back in time.
Would you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd just like to experience it. You know, when you see old photos of, like, for example, like I like to look at old photos of Newcastle, and I just think, I just wonder what it was like then. Was it really all in black and white, or was that just a photo?
Oh, do you want to know something? Absolutely. I don't know why I'll even admit this, but I'm not joking. When I was younger, I thought life was black and white.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why, mate. I generally thought life was black and
there's
white.
no coloured photos, so I mean, it's fair enough. As a child, you would think that.
I've always lived in a colourful world.
Yeah, especially being ginger. But
it's not often Dean gets any joke in on the podcast. It's mainly me taking the mick out of him. So I'll give him a couple. Give him a couple. That was good, mate.
No, yeah, I'd go. Nearly went in for that fist pump again. Yeah, I'd go back in time and I just experience it. I'd probably go back to maybe like 50s, 60s, just in Newcastle, and just
wander around with the camera.
Yeah, maybe with the camera.
Nice. And take photos in colour.
In colour. Yeah, I think it'd be quite nice. And I'd probably go and like meet like my uncle and my dad and stuff when they were younger.
Shit.
And just like see where they're at.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, I could.
No, because if you meet them, then.
No.
It spirals and they don't end up having you.
No, I don't want any of that time warp shit. I just want to go and just talk to people, okay?
Right,
I'm just some random guy.
So you can just change the rules, fine.
Next question.
If Voldemort offered you a hug, would you accept?
No. He's a bad man.
He was like...
No.
Like this, with his arms open, he said, hug me. Come, Dean.
Give me a cuddle. Right, no, I wouldn't. No. Next question, please.
Well, if you could live forever, would you?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't?
Really. You've got to fit everything into this certain amount of time. So the decisions you make in life, they're pretty specific decisions, aren't they? I think part of the excitement in life is making the right decisions and all that sort of stuff. Because, I mean, if you live forever, then you could do everything. It'll get a bit boring. Do you not think?
That was like...
It was pretty
really deep.
Yeah.
That should be a LinkedIn post, mate.
It should be. It's because I was watching one of those Vox, the Mind things last night, and they were touching on it in a lot more detail and with a bit more finesse than me. But I wouldn't live forever. Would you live forever? Nah,
I would.
I think I'd get sick of you, mate.
But you wouldn't live forever, so
yeah, good.
But I would make it for 100 years of my life. If, for example, you lived 100 years, I'd make them literal hell for you.
It would get so boring living forever.
No, it wouldn't, mate, because there's nothing else. There's nothing else.
How do you know that?
There
could be another life.
Shut up.
Let's not get into that.
Let's not get
Next
into that.
Next question.
No religious talk. Yeah. No afterlife talk.
No.
Get rid of that.
No.
Let's not talk about... Ow. Slap your laptop. Let's not talk about that. But no, I think it would live forever, mate, because I don't believe there's anything else, so... I don't want to die, to be honest.
Man's scared of death.
Yeah.
You need to try some LSD. Get a bit wild.
I would never do that, mate.
Anyway, did you have another question for me? In Questions for Dean, in this segment.
Do. Questions for Dean. That's it.
That was a different tune than you sang the first time.
It's because
You're just going to change it up every week, are you?
No, because we'll get a professional one made. We're going to have a sign, we're going to have a theme song, little sections where little jingles come in.
Yeah.
Do podcast with Adam.
Give me the bloody question.
At the minute, at this current minute, what's your inspiration? Is it for work?
God.
Is it for life? What's your inspiration?
My inspiration?
Or just in general, what inspires you to create, just create. Yeah, what inspires you to create?
Ooh. It's difficult to pinpoint one specific thing. It's a bit of everything, really. there's things that happen in daily life and that have happened in life that I think push me forward. Deep. But it's, we're going deep again. Pretty deep. Oh, God. This is not an ASMR channel, Adam. No, I don't really know. I just do. It's very, very difficult to pinpoint.
You are a very inspired person to work with and to be friends with. I think you're quite.
Well, that's nice to hear.
I think you're just very like positive, and you're very like,
yeah.
You know, if there's a problem with something, you're kind of first there to like be like, boom, this is how I think we can fix this.
I don't try to dictate on anyone.
No, I think that's super. It's good to work with people like that.
Yeah. I always I try to be the calm in the storm. Yeah, and we're getting way too deep here. So deep. Yeah. Next question, please, before I get too deep that I can't surface again.
That's on.
And you'll lose it. Wow.
That's my question for this week.
Does that conclude the section?
Wait, ready?
Here we go.
Do. Questions for Dean.
That was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, we're rolling in on 1 hour.
1 hour. This is the longest podcast so far.
I mean, we've only recorded one other, so I would think so.
This is longer than the other one.
Yeah, fair enough. It is indeed. Do you have any parting thoughts, Adam? Until I see you next week, because obviously we're not going to talk until then.
Nope. Let me just pull up my little... Yep, we'll end on one thing.
Oh, God.
Is the Earth flat?
No.
Brilliant. All right, thanks for listening, guys. That was a social conversation with myself, Adam Watson, and the lovely Dean Hindmarch. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.